So today I'm going to be doing a part one of a kitchen, not remodel, but we're going to be redoing it. So we're going to keep the countertops, keep the cabinets, but we're going to redo the cabinets. So we'll do the before. This is the before. So what we're looking to do is we're going to redo the backsplash. We're going to paint the cabinets, keeping the countertops, and then probably get some stainless steel appliances. So, but yeah, so this is going to be part one of redoing the backsplash. So there's probably going to be some time between each series because I've been busy with work and stuff. So, but we're going to start on with the backsplash first. So first I want to talk about how I'm going to do my backsplash. I'm not really good at tiling, and I discovered a little system that'll make your tiling look professional, and that's a leveling system. So my issue is when I lay tile, I'll have some tiles like this, some tiles like that, and they're not on plane together, so they don't look good. It doesn't look professional. And so actually I vowed not to do tiling anymore, any tiling projects around the house. But then I discovered the leveling system, and so I'm game to tile again. I actually redid the flooring in our bedroom, and it turned out great using a leveling system. I haven't seen anybody use this leveling system on a backsplash, but because I'm using a bigger ceramic tile for the backsplash, I'm going to go ahead and use the leveling system. And so I'll explain what the one I use. There's several options out there, but this is the Rigid Levelmax system. And so it has a fastener or a tightener here, and then the studs. So this will go underneath the tile, and this will go down on top of the tile and tighten it down. And you'll put those between all the tile, and make them all level. So this tightener is reusable. As you can see, there's the mess from my old tiling job, and here are this is the stud. This is a one-use thing because you'll break off the stud, because that's what this will stay underneath the tile. So let me talk about these a little bit, because I made a mistake. When you go by the studs, I think this is called the flat stud. There's several different options, and this is the intersection stud. And so you see this one has this intersection here. So it's kind of pretty much got a T. It's got this line here and that line there, and this one doesn't have them at all. So I'll show you what that's for. So when I'm going to be doing the tile, I'll put a tile down, and then at an intersection, I'll put this at an intersection. That way. So you can see this will, like when I put the tile down, it'll have this at the intersection. It'll have another one at this intersection here. Oops, I put it the wrong way actually. So then I can just kind of nudge them all in. They got the same size gap. And then actually, you'll have them at all your intersections. And then I'll just tighten it down. And that'll bring them all on plane. And then obviously I'll have a stud here. The issue is when I'm down here at the bottom, I can't put one of the intersection studs down here at the bottom. So that's where I'm going to go use the flat stud. It doesn't have that intersection. So I'll be able to put this flat stud down here at the bottom. So it won't be at the intersection, it will be at the bottom. And so I'll have this down here, and then an intersection stud up here. So yeah, that gives me an option there. And actually you'll use the flat studs, like if you do long tile, like a wood look tile, these is probably what you'll use. So yeah, that's the leveling system. Again, if you're not good at getting your tiles on plane, the leveling system works wonders for that. So definitely highly recommend considering that. Okay, here's just a better view of the kitchen. So just the before. All right, so got the beadboard down. So there was adhesive behind the beadboard, between the beadboard and the drywall. So obviously when I ripped the beadboard off, that ripped the surface of the drywall off. So that's part of the prep. You want to make sure you have a nice, well, not perfectly smooth, but you want to kind of clean up the surface a little bit, make it as smooth as possible. So I'm just going through and I'm sanding it. So this is the finished product of sanding. So go over here, and I have not sanded over here yet. So yeah, so I just got to do some sanding on this, and it'll be ready to tile after that. The one little discovery I didn't think about it when I started was the microwave. We're going to replace this microwave. It's kind of giving us some problems, so eventually it's going to go. And so the thing is you get another microwave, it's probably not going to, they're not a standard size. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the microwave down. That way I can tile up past, the bottom of the top, of the cabinets. So that I can ensure any new microwave that we put in there won't be a gap between the top of the tile and the bottom of the microwave. So that'd be kind of a pain in the neck if we ran across that. So we'll go ahead and just ensure that any new microwave will have tile behind it by dropping this one and then going ahead and tiling up past it. So we're still at it. The one thing that I had to do before I tile is I'm putting the tile on with an adhesive. I forget what it's called, but I'll show that later on. But I put down a cover for my counters to protect them. So you got the plastic tablecloths here. So that's one thing to consider. And then I'm doing a line here. So that's I used a level to get this line here. So let me see here. So I shim this up off of the countertop, because you don't want to have it directly on the countertop, because you don't want to have two masonry surfaces touching like that. But give them room to adjust with temperature, and so I use that to establish where I'm going to have my line, and then I got the level. So I got a level over here. And then I just drew a line across level. So this will set, this will set that line, this first tile, and then I'll use a level to draw that line across. So that'll be my first row. I want to be able to see that line, so I'm going to be buttering the back of the tile directly, because if I was to put and I may be able to just try to apply it below the line. We'll see. Anyways, the key thing is you want to be able to see that line so that you can keep that first row of tiles level. And I'm probably going to start from the middle to kind of make it look symmetric, so that one end, the end down here, because this end right here, either end. Whatever end I end with doesn't have a tiny little tile left. So if I start in the center, then it makes it look more symmetric. So I'm ready to start tiling now. I have the microwave down, and then I have the drywall all sanded down from where the adhesive tore off the paper. So what I did next is because I'm using a pre-mixed adhesive, I put tablecloth, the disposable tablecloths down on the countertops to protect them, or to make it easier on cleanup. So here's that adhesive. So it's type 1 tile adhesive, and that's for ceramic tile. There's other types, I forget what they are, but you know, don't use type 1 if you're going to do glass or marble or something like that. But type 1 is just fine for ceramic tile. So here I am. I got this first section done. You'll see the my leveling system, and as I said, it makes it all this nicely, you know, all in plane. The gaps are the same throughout, so gives it that professional look by using the leveling system. If you're not that good at tile like me, I just want to show you. I had to change strategies real. So this is a pencil trim. And so what you do is typically put these around the edge of your tiling to give it that finished look. Because these tiles here have a ceramic looking edge, not a finished looking edge. So that's why we got this trim here. And when we put the trim on, it made it look framed in. Just didn't look that good. So my lovely wife came up with an idea that we're gonna paint the edge with we're gonna pick a color from here and just paint the edge to kind of give it a nice clean finished look. I gotta clean up. I'm gonna put some pre-mixed stucco stuff in here to kind of make take the bricks over. So I'd probably had this tile over further, but I kept room for the pencil trim. So now it gives me a little bit extra work to do, but that's fine. I've done something like this before, so that won't be hard to clean up. And just real quick, I wanted to show you how to remove your studs. So you're going to go with. So you got to look at the main. There's like the main where the stud, how it attaches. So you want to hit it go I guess in that direction. So you're gonna hit it like right here, and it should bump it right off. And boom, there it is. I may have to get like a Dremel or something like that to kind of clean that out a little bit, to get that plastic out so I can put the grout in there. But most of them come off pretty cleanly. So yeah, that's the advantage of using the leveling system. It gives you a nice professional job. If you're good at tiling, then you don't need it. Obviously, you'll save some money. But yeah, we'll continue on. I'll show you the finished product when I'm done. One other area that I forgot to really talk about when I was doing my prep is this area where the paper on the drywall had loosened up, and that's because this is the area where the stove belongs. And so the steam from the stove, my guess is that it loosened it up over time. And so that'd be a problem if I had loose paper back here with the tile up here, glued to it. Probably wouldn't be good for the long term to be glued to loose paper. So I cut the paper out in order to smooth out the area. I just threw some joint compound down. But I got to thinking about it, and I was like, I probably need to go ahead and prime this area, put some primer on here to seal the joint compound, because joint compound will absorb water and it'll loosen up. So I'm going to throw some primer on it to seal this joint compound, so that the tile will stick to it for the long term. So just wanted to show you, I started the backsplash behind the stove. And I didn't start from the wall. I started from I wanted to have a tile centered on the stove. So when you're at the stove, you cooking, you can look and see that center tile. For that reason, what I did is I established a level line across, and then I was able to work from that line, so that once I bring the tile all the way to the corner, it'll be lined up with that row. It's a little tricky though, because there was nothing to support the tiles on, so I had to kind of make a little stack here, put the level on it, and then I had to use 2 flat studs per tile to be able to hold those in place. But it seemed to work out well, so everything's lined up on the line, so should be good to go now. Okay, so here I am with the tiling all done, and I just wanted to go into the next step. So the next step is grouting, but before I do that, I have to go through and clean up any of the adhesive that has squeezed through. And it was relatively a clean job, not too much stuff squeezing through, but I'm going to just take a little scrub pad here. Hopefully this will work with the abrasion here on this side of the sponge. Some wood skewers. I got this razor, straight edge here. I got a utility knife somewhere, but I'll just go through, clean all the adhesive off, between the grout lines, and so that just to make sure it's nice and clean, so that when I grout, none of the adhesive or anything just is kind of poking through the grout. Just comments now that I'm completely done with tiling. The leveling system worked phenomenally. I mean, I probably should show a comparison video of a tiling job we have in our main bathroom. Just everything's not on plane, but this is, I mean, I couldn't be more pleased with how on plane all these tiles are. The leveling system worked great. It will slow you down a little bit because as you're putting studs in, it makes it a little hard to to directly apply the adhesive direct onto the drywall. So I ended up finding myself buttering the back of the tile a lot. So maybe a little slower, but again, I'm not doing this for a living. Alright, so I'm doing the grouting now. I got this part done here, and I was going to just show you how I grout. Just one thing to note over here. So down here, typically, well, put it right here. Typically, when you grout, you'll do like a caulk down here to give a variation, for temperature expansion. But we had some tiling work done in our bathroom, and they grouted between the bathtub and the tile, and it worked out just fine. So we're just gonna do it that way. So in here, since it wasn't a problem in the bathroom, so that's one thing to keep in mind when you're tiling. Just maybe don't worry about grouting that. You can just silicone caulk it. So yeah. So we'll, for those that aren't familiar with grouting, using a grout float. I use a trowel to get the grout out of the bucket. Just follow the instructions. I get sand-based grout. I got the other kind before, the non-sand, and didn't have good results with it. The way it finished, it didn't look clean. It's meant for small gaps like this, but I just don't use it just because of the bad experience the first time around. But yeah, use a float. I'll use a bucket of water as I'm using this. I'll go ahead and get it wet. I have a bucket full of the grout over here, and again on the sand-based grout, just use follow the directions of the bag for mixing it. So I'm gonna use this trowel here. Just slap it on there like that, and I'm just gonna apply it. And I'm not that good at it. I probably should have went up with it, but anyways, and so once you apply it, now the thing is this is a textured tile. As you can see, it's got the ornamental middle thingies on there. Do it more like that. You can do it up and keep the grout in there. But because it's got that texture in there, it's catching all the grout. So there's a lot of cleaning. So once you apply it on, I mean, you can do a wider area, but I'll just show you for the sake of keeping the video shorter. I have 3 sponges. I'll just rinse those off in the bucket of water, after I'm done using them. So what I'm doing is just go through and just wipe that off. And as you can see, it's getting caught in the texture, so it's a little bit more work. Regular tile, it's easier. And if you have two people that can do this, it's better, because then you can, so once I clean this off, there's going to be a haze. You can have somebody that's keeping the water clean. They come through with a sponge and then wipe that residue off. So my case, I'm going to have some the haze left over that I'll have to clean off. So it just helps to maybe have two people doing this. My dear wife is knocked out. That's what happens when you take care of 4 kids. So, and a needy husband. So yeah, that's about. Let me get this here. I'll get that down there with my finger. But anyway, so yeah, that's about it. Just make sure, I always make sure my grout. Let me get another sponge here. See what we can start with. Just I go through sponges. I'll have 3 ready, and now see. Look at that. And see, it looks nice and clean now. And I just make sure it's kind of nice. Some of the grout isn't overflowing. So yeah, it looks good now. So that's how you grout. All right, so my lovely wife wiped the tiles down, so it looks really good now. So now I got to put the sealer on. So that's what I talked about now. So this is the sealer here. So we were looking for, so that we sprayed, there's a spray kind that you can put on it. It stinks really bad. There's a kind that you can directly put into your grout mix. I didn't get that this time. So I wanted to try this kind that it's non-spray. You wipe it in 3 to 5 minutes. You wipe any excess off. So it has instructions on it on how to apply it. So it goes down fairly quickly. So we were trying to avoid the smell, but it turns out this kind smells as well. But I guess that means there's some good chemicals in there that'll seal this up. So maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. All right, the backsplash is done. It's actually been done for a while now. I just want to get the lighting up to show what the finished product looks with some lights. So yeah, the leveling system did great. Everything looks good as far as all the tiles being on plane. The one thing, like a mistake I made, so if these type of textured tiles have various looks to them. So they actually had numbers on the back of them, 1 through 4. So there were 4 different patterns. Well, I didn't pay attention to that, and then realized that I had, like, right here, I had like patterns right next to each other. So those pop out to me. So that's just one thing to be aware of. If you get some type of tile similar to this, look and see if the patterns are numbered on the back, and then that way you can kind of disperse them out instead of having them right next to each other. But yeah, so next in our kitchen remodeling is obviously we get some all stainless steel appliances. We got some of them, and then paint the cabinets. So. Thanks for watching. God bless.